Hi Virgo, this is your forecast for the year 2017, first quarter. This is a general reading for Virgo Sun, Virgo Rising, or Virgo Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is personal and specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited the site before, you'll need to clear your browser's cache for the schedule button to function properly. So Virgo, the first month of the first quarter, you have the Seven of Swords. So for some of you, there's just a lot of back and forth. You're going a lot, you're moving, you're on the move. For some of you, you are relocating. Perhaps you're moving to another residence, or you're just doing a lot of traveling, a lot of errands, a lot of back and forth. But for others of you, January is going to be a month where there's some issue of duplicity involved. There could be a feeling of being taken advantage of. Issues about insincerity, or somebody trying to accomplish something through some type of illicit tactic or circuitous means. You may feel as if you've been betrayed, ripped off, cheated in some way. And for others of you, maybe you're avoiding something, or you're trying to keep people at arm's length. Or for others of you, you're involved in a situation where you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not getting a return. There's a sense of futility about something that you're doing. Still, others of you are being you're using your wit, you're using some type of strategy to get ahead, whether that's to outwit somebody, to beat out the competition, or overcome some type of opponent. So this is, a warning card in some way, and it's an admonition, especially about areas where you may not have paid attention or taken some wise advice. You weren't prudent with regard to something. So at some point during January, you're going to be put under the spot, or you're going to be scrutinizing someone else with regard to integrity, honesty, being forthright. And this could be a month where you have to be especially careful about being too quick to believe something, being too trusting, and putting stock in the things that you hear. It's also a month where you're going to have to be very careful about what you say. So for some of you, there's some outright theft. So you need to guard your possessions and your finances and be careful in your career. There could be situations that you're involved in where, you again are being taken advantage of. So you are being warned to be careful about wasting your time in situations by putting your energy or your efforts or your talents or your money into connections, pursuits, endeavors that don't yield any results for you, that are non-productive. So something that you have done or said in the past could come back to create some problems for you. And if you were planning in any way some type of deception, January could be the month where that all falls apart, and there may be hell to pay because of it. So if you are putting yourself out into the public in some way, or maybe you're putting your resume out, or doing an interview, or pushing a product, make sure that you are being honest and acting with integrity. Resist any urge to embellish the truth, to portray yourself in ways that are not entirely accurate, because at some point that is going to come back to bite you. Now, if you are involved in any kind of situations where you are totally reliant upon what other people think, what their opinion is about what you're doing, you may feel a sense of codependency that erodes your personal power, your individuality, that chips away at your authenticity, and that keeps you from standing up for yourself if need be. So this is a month to practice caution about, again, where you're investing your time, your energy, your money, your talents. And fortunately, you're going to have the ability to remove yourself from situations that don't have anything to do with you, that keep you from making progress. So this is a warning card, again, about your integrity or that of others and the quality of your relationships with other people. So by February, you may be relying on your faith. Now, you may have dealt with something challenging, and now you're having to rely on your faith about whether this situation is going to play out in a positive manner. You have an understanding that whatever has taken place, there were some positives to it, some spiritual lessons, and you may now be taking stock and trying to find the silver lining. You also know that there's a process of transformation occurring for you on some level in February. You feel instinctually that there are some changes on the horizon that are for the better, even though you can't quite place what those changes will be. But this belief that there are some positive things in wait for you is driving your motivation to move forward. And you're allowing your intuition to guide you. So if there were some unsettling circumstances that you faced in the previous month, you are now facing that reality and allowing it to be the catalyst for some personal achievement. The middle of the quarter, you're going to be relying on that faith, and you're going to be questioning perhaps the integrity of other people. You're going to question the faith in yourself, your capabilities. You're questioning your belief system, because something that you thought was a particular way is now under review for you. And by the middle of this quarter, you will be opening yourself up to some new possibilities that will take you in another direction. Now, this could be developing some kind of special talent you have, or being more creative, or getting some kind of knowledge or understanding that's going to allow you to plan for the future. And you could be receiving some assistance, some guidance from somewhere, or maybe you're offering that. By the end of the quarter, one of two things has happened. Either you have now gained some kind of harvest from your efforts, or you're still waiting. So by March, you've either, decided to quit, maybe you're tired out, or you are patiently waiting for something to produce. So by the end of the first quarter, you're taking some type of an assessment about where you are financially, or with regard to a project or your job. You may be involved in something that's long term and you're having to wait. There could be a delay. For some of you, maybe you're working without any pay because you're investing your time and energy into something that you believe in, some faith that you have placed. And either you found out you were wasting your time and you're not getting any return on it, or you're having to come up with a strategy and there's a faith that this strategy will work. So toward the end of the first quarter, you may be having to make some choices between something that feels like it carries some risk, or whether you should take the safe route that offers you more security. There's probably a lull during the month of March where you are waiting for some results and you're having to be patient. And you may be frustrated about the delay of something. In fact, there could even be where your efforts are blocked in some way. Or you're taking stock of a project and there was no profit in it. So maybe you're giving up too soon, Or maybe you're in a dead-end job and it's not going anywhere and you continue to worry about your finances. For some of you, you realize you're at the end of the road and you're giving up on some enterprise that you started. Or there's some problems at work. Or again, there's no return on whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe it was a poor investment. For others of you, this is about gaining something. Your strategy paid off. Maybe you took some kind of change in direction, or, maybe you gained something with very little effort. There was a reward that took place specifically because of your perseverance. Whatever that is, whatever you're dealing with, in the month of March, you're going to be taking a closer look at your endeavors and your connections and where you have been investing the majority of your time and your money. So this is going to be a month, again, where there are either issues where you've been taken advantage of, where you have been wasting your time, or where you have been exceptionally strategic in order to advance. You'll be relying on your faith, and you'll be reevaluating where you are financially, where you are career-wise. And, maybe you're involved in something that has the potential to reward you as long as you stick with it. It requires your patience and your determination. In other cases, you will be taking stock and realizing that you have been wasting your time and putting forth effort in endeavors that are going to yield little result. So your advice card is: the law of attraction responds to my vibration. A belief is nothing more than a chronic pattern of thought, and you have the ability, if you try even a little bit, to begin a new pattern, tell a new story, to achieve a different vibration, and to change your point of attraction. The law of attraction is responding to your vibration, and you can easily change your vibrational point of attraction by visualizing the lifestyle you desire and holding your attention upon those images until you begin to feel relief. So, again, try not to avoid situations where you should be dealing with something and confronting it head on. And this is a period for you to have faith, and that faith may be rewarded. You'll be questioning yourself, your goals, your finances, other people, the integrity or sincerity of others. You will have to be honest with yourself, and in some cases, you may realize that you were deceiving yourself on some level and that you were wasting your time in something that's going to yield little results. For others of you, again, you've come up with a strategy that you believe in, and ultimately it's going to pay off for you. Now, with regard to love and romance, let me preface this by saying I know that people are particularly sensitive to that area of life, and rightly so. And, it's very difficult to give a love reading in a general reading because there's so many aspects to love and relationships. So when you hear this, either it's for you or it's not. So if this does not resonate with you on any level, then this message is not for you. So this is meant for someone, but it just may not be you. So in the beginning of the first quarter, you have the Empress card. And so this is about, this is a good omen if you're starting to date. This is a great card for starting a new relationship. This is about pleasure and sensual pleasure and feeling happy and satisfied and content, feeling comforted by a relationship. And for some of you, this is representative of your ideal, and maybe you have met that ideal person. This is somebody who can be very nurturing. They're a loving presence in your life. Sometimes this is somebody who is loving too much. Maybe some of you are focused on having a child. You're focused on a pregnancy. Now, in the negative, this is somebody who is fickle. They can be very jealous, very demanding, and yet they want to retain a strong sense of independence and freedom for themselves. And so in that case, there could be issues of self-indulgence, too much focus on the physical or too much focus on the material. Some of you may be having issues with conception. Some of you, there are issues of infidelity, or again, obsession with either love or sex, or being too flirtatious, or just being driven to fulfill your desires, regardless of what the other person is needing. Some of you may be attached to somebody who is attached to someone else, which obviously is going to complicate any relationship you have. Or you're looking back on a situation, an encounter you had with someone, and you feel a sense of regret about what could have been. There was a lot of potential, but it never manifested. It never took off. This could have been somebody you were involved with who didn't want to give love for whatever reason. Or you may be involved with someone who is very sexual, very charming, very alluring, and there's a mutual attraction between you, in which case you're going to have encounters that are fun, enjoyable, positive. If you've had difficulties in a relationship, this card says this is a month at the beginning of the year where you can smooth things over. You know what to say. Your skills of communication are enhanced. And for some of you, you're improving the connections that you have. And for others of you, there's the possibility for new connections that will provide you some sense of happiness or enjoyment. So there are going to be opportunities that cross your path. And more likely, if you're feeling good about yourself, who you are, what you're putting out there. But if you feel at all any sort of doubt or anxiety or lack of confidence in yourself, you're going to be vulnerable to being abused by others, to be taken advantage of. And you may be putting yourself back into a self-defeating cycle. Or some of you may be too self-indulgent and may be involved in relationships for the wrong reason. So this is going to be a month where you can come up with small strategies to improve your relationship for the future. If you had given up on a partnership, you may be able to, maybe there was a break, and this is a period where you can go back, given, new confidence to tackle it again, try it one more time, try to work out some things. However, if you're at all apathetic, you can expect for things to go nowhere. So there could be some block development. Maybe your relationship fails to thrive. It's just stagnating. Or again, maybe one of you has an excessive preoccupation with money or comfort or sex or whatever. There could be an unwanted pregnancy, or maybe difficulty, like I said, conceiving, infertility. Some of you may be experiencing a financial hardship that impacts the relationship in some way. Or there are issues of depression, lack of confidence that work against the relationship. Now, in February, there's a sense of dissatisfaction, maybe even boredom. So maybe what was an ideal, now you realize it's not quite what you thought it was. It's not as appealing as it once was. You may be, hitting the earth with a thud and realizing that this other person is not who you thought they were. Now, if you're single, maybe you are unhappy. Maybe you're not pleased because you're not getting the comfort or the nurturing or the attention that you feel you deserve. And maybe you don't feel good about yourself financially, attractive wise, whatever it is. Some of you may be unrealistic about what you can expect from love. And you may be trying to satisfy your desire for love through the material or through sexuality without having a sense of true intimacy. There could be boundary issues that are important. Maybe you are blocking or the other person is. And there could be some emotional issues that are affecting the relationship. However, by March, you could be, you could have worked those things out. Maybe you are attracting someone who's very different, or maybe you've changed your approach to love and you've gained in some way. You could be getting a lot of attention during the month of March, whether you're single or coupled. You may have exchanges that are mutually satisfying and there's some sexual chemistry. If you're single, again, maybe you've regained your confidence and you're enjoying life, and that confidence is boosting your power of attraction. But for some of you, there's a dissatisfaction because you let your pride get in the way of the relationship. And maybe there's some pain and suffering attached to the relationship because of it. You didn't allow your honest communication to take place because your pride blocked that. Or maybe, you're in a power play with another person where both of you are playing some type of game where you withhold your affection and close yourself off to love. Some of you may not want to get back on the saddle because you have some low self-esteem because you were involved in some kind of demoralizing situation that put a damper on the relationship. And it could have been that one of you was disloyal or dishonest, or maybe there were some false accusations that took place. For others of you, again, you recognize that there was some dissatisfaction, maybe even some self-absorption where you weren't paying attention to the partner the way, you should have. And now there's some recognition of that dissatisfaction and you're making an attempt to smooth some things over. Now, this could be a new relationship and there could have been some bumps in the road and maybe some issues in getting to know the person, or there could be some recognition that you had been alone and withdrawn and that you actually need to get out there and have those nurturing connections. So there could be new love for you in the works. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings, Virgo. Lucky you. And so maybe you recently met this person, or when this is showing you that this is a valid connection, that both of you probably feel that mutual attraction and that you should explore that. If you've been holding back or withdrawn, it may be time to put yourself out there. Now, for some of you, maybe you were in a committed relationship and there are issues of infidelity. Maybe something about your relationship was lacking that caused you to want to get involved with someone else. So this would be a period for you to gain a greater understanding of yourself rather than looking over that fence to those greener pastures. You need to realize that eventually you probably won't feel very good about yourself. And so it's better for you to deal with what's going on inside of you and the shortcomings of the relationship that you're involved and work that out rather than trying to open an emotional door with someone else. This is about knowing that you need to have faith in love. You need to have faith in yourself, that you are lovable. So now the theme for this quarter is the Three of Wands. So, this works on both the financial and the relationship level. This is a period where you are putting yourself out there. You are putting your ideas out there. You are networking. You're socializing. You're getting in touch with other people. Maybe you're dating. And you're very concerned about your future, whether that is emotionally or financially. So during this first quarter, you have a gift for being resourceful, for saying the right thing, for being in the right place, for giving the right answer. And you're very flexible. You're adaptable. So if anything occurs at the last minute, or there's some kind of changes because of on your part or the part of others, you're willing to compromise. You're willing to bend. You can change your strategy on the dime. Now, for others of you, you are encountering issues where you're dealing with deception or being taken advantage of or being let down or being closed off. And that's because somebody is changing at the last minute. They're letting you down. They're not giving up all of the goods. They're not sharing all of the information. They're changing their story. They could be outright lying or stealing. And so this could be a period where you have to strongly rely on yourself and your instincts, because there's not going to be any rescues. You're not going to get a chance at the last minute. And so you have to trust in yourself, your gut, your own intuition to guide you. And you have to be careful about what you're putting out there, whether you're being honest and showing integrity in your business and career affairs, as well as your relationships. So if you are embellishing the truth, or trying to make yourself appear larger than life, or being deceptive and getting involved in, more than one relationship, or trying to disguise your shortcomings, at some point during this quarter, those types of behaviors are going to come back for you to deal with and confront. This is going to be a time frame where you are very concerned with the future. You're traveling, perhaps you're putting yourself out there, you're making connections to other people. But this is also a period where you need to be focused on right here and right now, and dealing with what is in front of you, not being evasive or trying to avoid situations. This is a period for you to deal with your current obligations, your current responsibilities, and possibly your current partners. So you also have this higher power card. So this is telling you that the universe is at work, and you may be dealing with higher power. So you need to see the presence of the divine in all of your situations. This is telling you this is not just about gaining an advantage, getting ahead, making more money, coming out on top, and trying to make things happen for yourself. There are other things, larger things at play. And you may have to get out of your way and trust that there are more wondrous things that the universe has in store for you. And you may need to cultivate your connection and strengthen it with spirit. And you may need to focus on developing a spiritual bond with other people that is essential to your growth. So whatever you're doing, whether you're involved in an agreement, you're starting a project, you're negotiating a deal, you should be coming from the place of spirit and allowing that to guide you and giving credit where that's due. So this is a period for you to examine where you're putting your energy, what your intention is, whether you are obsessed with being right, about coming out on top, if you're letting old resentments get in the way, if you have some failed expectations, whether that's about money, about people, about things. Don't allow that to be your source. Your source should be spirit and higher power. Turn away from things that don't serve your highest good, and let go of your troubles and trust that spirit and higher power is taking care of you. Now, the underlying energy is this Two of Pentacles. So there's a lot going on. You're juggling a lot. You're multitasking. You got a lot of opportunities, both financial and romantic, that are going to cross your path this this quarter, when and where you least expect it. But there could be difficulties at various points where you are juggling your finances, or you feel as if you're on an emotional roller coaster. So this is a period of reviewing your relationships, reviewing your finances, and restructuring some things with a focus on the long range. This is a time to be practical, realistic, and have faith, but not deceive yourself, and not try to deceive others. So this is going to be a period where you weigh your options and try to determine what your next course of action should be. And you'll be considering your partnerships and what you are putting into them, as well as what you are getting out of them. All right, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I would greatly appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and kind comments. For those of you who've already offered your support, please know that I am grateful and committed to you. Have a wonderful 2017 and make it count.